The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Austin Scott, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we too want to get a broad bipartisan farm bill done. I'll tell you, I do think that we have to put the farm back in the farm bill, and I think that production agriculture should receive more than 10% of total farm bill spending. And I think until we get to that point, just rural America's economy is going to continue to suffer until we have adequate support. That said, on just over a year ago, Secretary Vilsack testified before this committee claiming that the previous 3 years of net cash income were the best 3 years in 50 years. And I'm quoting him there, the best years for net cash income ever. He simply glossed over the 2023 number at the time, which we already had. Now we have 24. And we have estimates for 25. So, Dr. Newton, the USDA's latest farm income report shows a sharp increase in net farm income for 2025. Are you familiar with this report?
Yes, sir.
It's largely driven by economic and disaster assistance. It's where the increase in income comes from. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if you follow the numbers, $42.4 billion or 23.6% of net farm income is expected to come from disaster or assistance payments. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so for America, the reason that number is so high, and this is what I'm so concerned about, and I'll just read this from a Farm Bureau report, the anticipated increase in ARC and PLC payments is primarily due to projected declines in commodity prices. For example, USDA projects the 2025 marketing year average price for corn to be $3.90 per bushel, which is below the effective reference price of $4.26 a bushel, and it goes on to name some other commodities in there as well. So we've got tough years ahead of us. We had a tough year in 24. We had a tough year in 23. Can you just speak to what you think we would have seen if Congress had not acted to provide the economic and natural disaster assistance to farmers the last month of 2024?
Thank you very much for the question. I mean, we've seen tight margins now in farm country for 3 straight years in a row, and the ad hoc support that you mentioned, unfortunately, is not going to make anyone whole. Even with that support, even with the support from ARC and PLC, we're still looking at farms that it's going to be a tough time to break even. So I think this is helpful assistance, as we've heard from the committee, but we need a new 5-year farm bill. We need a modernized farm bill so that farmers have the tools they need in the toolbox to manage risk in today's farm economy. And I've said all the time when I travel the country, our farm safety net is broken. It does not work the way it needs to work, and that's why we've had to rely so heavily on ad hoc support. By my estimates, over the last 6 years, we've had about $130 billion in ad hoc support that's gone out the door. ARC and PLC, those programs that you mentioned, have come in at about $20 billion. So we're at 6-to-1 ratio between ad hoc support and the support we get from farm bill programs. That's why the safety net needs to get modernized. I appreciate the question.
The reference prices no longer reflect the cost of production for America's
Absolutely not.
farmers. And I will tell you, I'm concerned that they're moving so fast that I truly think after this farm bill we probably need to get to a 3-year cycle, not a 5-year cycle on the farm bill because of the speed at which things are changing. Dr. Newton, I'll just stick with you since I'm down to 1 second. I'm from South Georgia. Can you just talk about what a downturn in the overall ag economy means for all of the businesses and rural America in general?
I mean, I think, we've heard it from the witnesses. The farm economy supports the rural economy. It supports rural Main Street. When farmers are not making money, there's not turn back dollars that go back into the economy. You lose jobs, you lose schools, you lose, health care. So the farm economy is the backbone of the rural economy.
I only have about 20 seconds left, Mr. Chairman, but in most of the counties that I represent, the farmers are the ones that are paying the taxes that support the local government, the school system, police departments. If the local farmers can't make their ends meet, then nobody else is making their ends meet either in rural America. So we too want to get a good farm bill done, but it's got to be more than 10% for production ag.
Thank the gentleman.